Hello, everybody. Craig Zimmerman, Jesse LuBuhn from the goal line at East China Stadium. Started off here on our preseason discussion about Mariner football, Jesse, and hopefully the weather stays like this throughout the season and we get some games in where it's real comfortable. We are coming to you live from East China Stadium it is a Thursday, August 22nd, and we'll be coming to you from the stadium here a week from tonight.
Yeah, for the home opener.
Home opener against Sterling Heights.
Yeah, we're playing at home this year. Last year we squared off against Sterling Heights, first game of the season down in their turf. So yeah, we're up here in East China there this year.
Yep. So for our memories, we'll talk about last year. We'll talk about the record. We'll compare it to this year. Talk about who's coming back. We've got a lot of returning lettermen coming back this year. The offensive side of the ball. And not necessarily in order of any starting position or anything like that, but a lot of guys that saw a lot of time on offense and defense last year. We got Mason Walker, Tanner Mason, Derek Schlotman, Trevor Knox, Josh Headley, Derek Landis, Angelo Petsalis, Colby Walker, Aaron Soph, and a few others on offense. There's only two starters that are no longer with the team, and they graduated. That was Vinny Gaitan and Jack Kretschmar. And then on the defensive side, we got Josh Headley, Mason Walker, Devin Gorniak, Charles Tigert, Angelo Petsalis, Wes Uplegger, and probably a few more that you saw, near the end of last year as far as coming and get a lot of playing time. Mariners were 10-3, had a really good playoff, losing the semifinals. Good run.
Yeah, I think a very, very good run.
What do you got here for us else? What else you got for us, Jesse?
Nothing. I just made some notes from last year, coming off, I think it was just an absolute amazing season at 10-3. You had 3 home playoff games, and the last one being here against Den, being a double overtime win, was just, that's as exciting as it gets in high school playoff football. So that was really, really fun to be at. Like I said, we traveled and ended up losing ultimately to Portland, 35-14, but just an excellent season, I think. Last year when we spoke here on this preseason show here, we talked about how young this team was and how, and especially the line and how they're going to gel. And we made different comments throughout the year, up in the booth through the game, like how this offensive line and how this team together is going to gel and come together. And I tell you, to see those guys, see those kids go and produce like they did last year was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and this year we're hoping for the same thing. We're looking for good health because obviously as our numbers go, health is a bigger issue. 10 years ago we had 820 kids in the school. Now we're down to what?
I think they've listed at 512 this year. So 521.
And then as far as number of kids on the varsity team will be in the 30s?
Yeah, 34, 33 right now I think we're at.
So the key thing is stay healthy.
A couple more than we had last year. But yeah, in some of those positions you don't have much depth, so you definitely want to stay healthy. That's going to be key.
This will be Coach Ron Glodich's final year. He retired from teaching. This will be his final year at coaching, and he's done a just tremendous job, taking over for Tony, who did a tremendous job, who took over for Bob, who did a tremendous job, who took over. I mean, it's been a storybook ending when you look at the whole last 25 years, if you will.
Absolutely, and all those guys, they all complement each other. Each of them had their knack, and I played for all 3 of those coaches you listed. I didn't play for Darren. Obviously, he's about the same age as me, but just the utmost respect for those guys of what they've done. The kind of mentality they bring to this program, and just the courage they give these kids to go out and prepare them the best and hope for the best there on Friday night.
Yeah, and the consistency. The thing is, year after year after year, they're playoff teams. And you can never chart a course and say you should go here, or last year you went to the semis, so you should. No, but they're prepared, and they just it's like watching almost like a symphony.
Yeah, and they take each game at a time. There's a lot of preparation that goes into each game. They just don't come out Friday night and hope for the best. There's a lot of research and stuff that goes into preparing that team for the year.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. And, just a lot of that goes into every week, behind the scenes stuff, and the coaching staff and everybody that supports it just does a phenomenal job.
Yep. We'll go over last year's record. We talked about it 10-3. We started off the season, as Jesse had mentioned, at Sterling Heights. We won 47-3. We came home to play South Lake. We won that one 34-20. The next game was Clintondale. beat them 41-14. Then we went down to a tough Madison Heights team who had probably, when you look at the divisions, probably two of the difference makers. The quarterback that was like an all-state quarterback that was fast as all get out, and then they had a running back that could run up the middle with strength. We lost that one 21-15, and it was within a razor's edge of just, putting it over the top. East Point, we beat them 42-6. Clawson 28-8. We lost to St. Clair here, lost the Bell for a year. We want to get that one back.
Yeah, we sure do. We took a loss. That stung a little bit, 35-21, but looking forward to this year and getting that Bell back.
Yep, that's the idea. Marysville, we won 37-15. Warren Lincoln 34-zip. Clawson in the playoffs, we beat them 21-12. Then we won the next round, the districts, Harper Woods 41-27. And the one you talked about, Denby Tech 40-32, and that one went down to the wire.
Absolutely, double overtime, right down to a 2-point conversion. Basically, both teams. And then I remember I watched the show on it the other day. The video of it, and we talked about Marine City had the ball the first time. On the second overtime, they had the ball to go in the end zone, and we kind of didn't want to talk about it, but we did. What do you do if you score? Because they weren't kicking. So do you kick it and go up by one? And end up getting up two, and then we stopped them on their 2-point conversion, and that was just, if you haven't seen it,
you got to go back and watch that one.
Channel 6, you can watch it. Yep, that was a great game.
CTV.org. That is one for the ages. I got to go back and watch that because now you're starting to talk about it. It's like, whoa, I remember that.
Yeah, you want to get charged up for the season and see, what could happen here on fall Friday nights with high school football. That's something to watch right there.
It's funny. We talked about it this week about getting together and doing this. And we were just lining up over here, and you said, remember what happened over here? And I didn't remember. But as soon as you said it, what happened, yeah, it was a big deal because it was freshman Charles Tigert stayed home on a
quarterback bootleg.
Yeah.
And hey, he lets him get outside, and their quarterback was no slouch. I mean, he could run, but that just goes the testament of the coaching, and getting these kids steered in the right direction and preparing them. Because not only that, but you had other freshmen on the team last year that almost all of them made significant impact to this team, and they're all back this year as sophomores. So, and you didn't lose very many. I mean, you lose a couple key people, but I'm confident these other kids are going to step up.
Yep. So the final game was the semifinal game that we played against Frankenmuth. They had a heck of a team, but you know what? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's Frankenmuth last year.
I'm looking. You're right. I'm looking at the wrong. So Portland 35-14. But the amazing thing about that is some people have the opinion that if you get beat, you want to see them win the championship. Then you got beat by a champion, and so Portland went on to beat us, and you think, oh boy, they're going to be tough. They got waxed the next week.
Sure did.
So you never know what to expect. Coming into this season, you want to talk about the schedule?
Yeah, so we'll open up here against Sterling Heights at home this year. Sterling Heights, again, is a big school. They listed at 1468 this year. And
I don't know why we even play teams that big, right?
Yeah, I don't know either, but you know what? You really can't gauge, the quality of a team or whatever on size because, like you said, Madison Heights was a tough loss for us last year, and they're only listing 307 kids this year. So it all depends on the program, and there's some outliers here this year. There's a lot of new staffs. We're playing Hazel Park this year. So anyway, so South Lake's going to be our second game. That's going to be an away game. Then we're going to play again away again at Hazel Park. And then Madison Heights here at home. We run another home game, East Point away at Clawson, which we played them twice here last year at home.
Yep.
And then St. Clair, we're at home this year, so hopefully we get that bell back. Away at Marysville, and then finish out the season, we'll be home against Lincoln.
Now, you had mentioned something about a lot of different staff. So Marysville's got a whole new staff. Coach Kaza retired.
Yeah, let's see here. Some other staffs here. I think Sterling Heights has a different staff. East Point and Marysville, like you said. So there's some outliers. And then South Lake has a new staff as well, and also Hazel Park's new to the league. So that's going to be some, as the coaches call it, unfamiliarity.
Yep.
Just have to get some film on them and prepare as best we can.
Maybe we'll have somebody kick to us.
That would be nice. That's always exciting.
Yeah, because they've never seen the vaunted Mariner
Starburst.
Quarterback position pretty much solidified, I think, with Colby Walker. This is his second full year of starting, and did he? I think he played some downs the year before.
Yeah, I think he did get a couple reps in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, I have to look back, but I'm sure he did. The coaching staff has always done a good job
Right.
of,
Spreading.
exposing those kids, getting them some plays, getting some reps, whether it be, a good game, bad game, whatever. So they are always looking forward to the future and trying to prepare these kids the best they can.
Yep. From the offensive side, I mean, the leading rusher for the Mariners last year, Aaron Soph, is back, and he's going to be a senior, wanting to prove himself for his senior year. And then, obviously there's, every year you come in with new optimism, and a lot of programs, it's sort of an uncharted optimism. They're just thinking they're going to go from a 4-5 team to a playoff team. That I think the expectations in Marinerland here are a little bit different in the sense, and we're spoiled. We're spoiled by all the success they've had, and we expect them to go as deep as they did last year, type of thing. And that's what we're hoping for. But as you talked earlier, there's no doubt or conjecture from my standpoint that when we go up in the booth to call a game, that there's any reason to think that we'll be outmatched or outcoached on the other side, because it never happens.
Right. Yeah. Even I wanted to go back and look at the points scored last year in our close games and see, how many points were scored in the first half versus the second half, because that's always been, something
Right.
this coaching staff can hang their hat on. And when they go in to review film and they figure out where we're getting beat in the first half, and they come out and they make adjustments. I mean, how many times have you seen a starburst run back, opening kickoff of the second half? I mean, that just sets the tone right there. So.
Yep. Hold on to this for a second. We're gonna get. Oh, some other things. We were just going to talk about the roster, and we'll just go over the roster. We won't pick players and where they're. We won't talk about where they're playing or what they're doing. We'll just talk about who's on the team. We got number 1 will be Charles Tigert. Charles in his second year, started as a freshman. He'll be a sophomore. We got number 2, Angelo Petsalis. Angelo in his senior year has been around, it seems like a long time, at least 3 years. You've got Anthony Rensel. He'll be a junior, number 3. Nick Barunda, number 4, senior. Nick played a lot of downs on defense last year. You got Derek Landis, another senior, number 5, played a lot of downs on defense. Wes Uplager played a lot of defense, number 6. He's a senior. Felix Kapp, number 7, is a junior. Jeff Heslop is a freshman, so Jeff's new to the varsity as a freshman, and that's pretty impressive in itself. Number 9, Colby Walker, the quarterback. We talked about him. Number 10, Mason Walker. Number 10, he's a junior. You got Jaden Heslop, number 13. He's a senior. He played quite a bit last year. Reese Adamczak, number 15, is a senior. Dallas Queener, number 18, is a sophomore. Wyatt Walker, his second year in varsity. He's number 21. He's a sophomore. Got Nathan Miller, sophomore, number 22. Ben Wright, senior, number 23. Nolan Disselrath saw a lot of time. He's number 25, and he's a sophomore. Matt Terhune, junior, number 28. Talked about Aaron Soph, number 32, a senior. Brock Osterlin's a freshman, another Osterlin running back and defensive line, number 34. Darius Watson saw some playing time. He's a junior. I'll let you go over the rest of them. Or did we?
We not have the other sheet there?
I thought it was.
Oh, there it is right there. Craig's going to go for a run again. Thank you.
So we cut it off at number 42, Darius.
Yep. All right, from there, you got number 54, junior, Luke Pastoria. Number 55, also a junior, James Gallagher. Your senior, listed here as a captain, Josh Headley, number 58. Number 59, Trevor Knox. We heard his name last year. He's also a senior. Devin Gorniak's returning again as a senior, number 63. Tanner Mason, I'm sorry. Number 64, also a senior. Leo Pastoria, a junior, number 66. Number 67, Ben Simons, also a junior. Derek Schlotman, junior, number 68. Seth Tackleberry, number 70. He's also a junior. Kyle Uplegger, number 72, a senior. Carter Ames, a sophomore, number 77. Connor Mason, a freshman again, number 78. And Hunter Tucker, number 85, a junior.
Looks like a good mix, Jesse. Not only do we have a lot of returning starters, but you've got a fair amount of underclassmen that saw a lot of time, and a fair amount of 9th and 10th graders that are coming along. So it's good for the program to see that on a team like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was something we looked at last year. You saw all these freshmen getting a lot of reps, and they returned this amount of people. So it's basically like a continuation that we're hoping, of the season. You get that gel, you get that confidence. Everybody can react to each other, and to me, this season should pick up right where it left off last year.
Some of the 2019 outlook from Coach Darren Letts, and he talked here about that our schedule is pretty much the same we talked about. The only difference is Hazel Park joining the MAC conference. They came from the OAA, which is the Oakland Athletic Association. They took Clintondale's spot. Coach said that they did a great job of improving their bodies physically as far as getting in the weight room, so that's a big thing. Said we're having a real nice start to practice with the backfield, and they're looking for big things. So I guess anything else to recap that you can think of that we missed?
I think something to note is adding Bill Nesbitt back to the staff.
Yeah. Bill. I'll say he got the shaft in St. Clair. How about that? Bill did a great job in St. Clair. Took them to within an extra point of going to the state finals a couple years ago. Had been here for, I don't know, Bill's probably been here, he was probably here 15, 18 years, I would guess. He coached with Bob, and I think, is he handling the defensive line?
I think he's offensive line.
Offensive line?
Yep.
Okay. So that's a good addition with, he knows the program, he knows what we do. So I'm sure he got in and it was just plug and play.
Yeah, sure. And I know there's a lot of people excited to have him back, and I'm sure he's going to provide quality to the program.
Yep. So with that, we'll say thank you for joining us. We'll be back, Jesse and I. Thank you to our cameraman, J.P. Severini, and Paul Digman and the crew. They are getting the booth ready as we speak. Hopefully all the bugs will be worked out this week, and we'll be back at it next Thursday. So Thursday, September 29th, correct?
I believe so.
7 o'clock. Be here at the stadium. We'll kick it off for the 2019 Mariner football season. We'll see you then.